It's been a long time since I played Valkyria Chronicles, since all the way back when it first released on the PS3. I still remember it floored me from its opening scene as the visuals began painting themselves like on a canvas right before the game's cinematics quickly began to take shape. You'd see hundreds of marching soldiers, huge destructive vehicles, ordinary people having their lives uprooted. It was a world at war. And while the graphics were fantastic, it was the strategic layer that got me hooked. You control a squad in a variety of battlefields, each with different classes as you'd complete your objective. Action points were spent when you moved, fired a weapon, threw a grenade, and it was all very intense, not knowing exactly what was around each corner. Plus, permadeath loomed over the soldiers you recruited, adding another layer to the strategic decisions that were made. With Valkyria Revolution, the gameplay has gone from strategy to an action strategy hybrid with a greater focus on the action aspect. It's something to get used to say the least, but remember, this is a spin-off series, so I'm willing to give it a chance as with all games I play. In this first hour of the game, we're treated to some cinematics, a lot of cinematics, setting up the story and battles to come, along with the prologue giving you a rundown on how to play.
ラグナイト、青き光を放つ謎多き鉱石から引き出される魔法のような力は
Valkyria Revolution begins with the story of the war and how it came to be, in which the azure mineral Ragnite transformed Europa, creating conflict between countries, paving the way for the road ahead. Interestingly, the story is told through a professor whose historical knowledge goes back 5 generations. She tells the story years and years after the game takes place, by way of a journalist with questions about the war's beginnings. He's not convinced that the war started the way the historians have told, regarding the 5 traitors, and that there must be facts hidden from the world that only the professor can provide. It's an intriguing setup, but honestly, these pure dialogue cinematics, while yes, providing background, are a bit on the boring side, because there's just a lot of exposition to be parsed through. In one sequence, my controller turned itself off after 10 minutes, and it kept going another 10 plus minutes. Of course, this is just the start of the game, so my opinion can change by the end. Also, the characters themselves in these parts do look a bit stiff animation-wise, and it doesn't sell their emotions as much as it could have. Graphically, while fairly clean, it doesn't look as hand-painted except for some of the background assets and screen transitions. In terms of gameplay, as I mentioned earlier, Valkyria Revolution is an action strategy hybrid, and from this prologue portion, as the game teaches you the new and sometimes familiar mechanics of the game, the strategic portion does take a bit of a backseat to melee. Gone are the action points, which are replaced by skills with a cooldown, along with the turn-based aspect of Chronicles where you controlled all your squad members. In Revolution, you can freely move about the battlefield taking cover, dodging, blocking, and slicing up enemies with Amlet's gigantic sword. And in another battle sequence, Princess Ophelia's fencing-like saber. However, you only control one character, as your squad is now controlled by AI. Everything moves at a faster pace, making me miss Chronicles' slower combat. As the squad made mincemeat out of the enemy soldier fodder, the hits didn't feel as impactful as I would have hoped for, holding a giant sword. But once I reached the boss of the prologue, a tall-necked monstrosity, things got more engaging. Each leg could be hacked, thus creating an opening for more damage as it was stunned, and it also had a stomp move of which you could see the area of effect as a circle on the ground, immediately telling the player to hightail it out of there. This, in combination of using special moves, throwing grenades, and to a much lesser extent shooting your gun, created a genuinely fun experience, where I wasn't just mowing down pawns. While Valkyria Revolution in this first hour hadn't hooked me immediately like Valkyria Chronicles did, I am hopeful that the game has more to offer as the fights get tougher. I haven't read up too much on the game previously, besides a few articles here and there, and a review of the Japanese version, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect on how the combat will or if it will evolve. or if there is still a little bit of RPG left in it. It also took about an hour to get a proper save point, so I feel like I'm just getting my boots on the ground on how the game operates. So far, I'm not hating it, so I'm looking forward to see if it'll add more depth to this war machine.